Just like those kids, when you think you've gotten your hand in the market to pull a little bit out, the market can turn around and just take everything you've got. Trading these choppy markets is tough, and I'm going to break down a number of trades. We're going to talk about Apple, the VIX, Tesla. We're going to talk about Bitcoin, Solana, and Cardano. I've got a lot to cover, and I'm going to give you guys an overall view of what I think the markets are going to do here in the coming days in the SPY. This is the Stocks with Josh show. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for all of the likes. We're going to dive right into it, starting off with what's going on with the S&P 500 heat map. You guys can see that Microsoft and Meta not been having a good day, but the fast movers, the fastest moving cars, Tesla, Nvidia, and Eli Lilly have absolutely taken off from yesterday's lows, and their future is clearly hanging on Apple's success. I would say the whole market is. So let's just take a big view of Apple right now. We're going to take a step back, and we're going to look at what's going on with Apple over the last 20 years. I'm going to share with you guys a chart. It's called a logarithmic chart by TrendSpider, and it shows price action in an ascending bearish wedge on Apple, and in the last 2 years we see that it's touched the bottom of support twice, once in 2022 and here again recently in 2023. Now, an ascending wedge like that is bearish, but the fact is that Apple could continue to ascend within that wedge for another decade, but we do need to keep our eye on the bottom, and I'll let you guys know if it breaks below. At the moment, I'm not expecting it to. But what I am going to give you guys a prediction regarding Apple is that we are going to likely rise up into the 185 range somewhere here in the course of November. Then we're going to largely trade sideways going into December between 180 and 190. That is my Apple prediction. And there's more than one way to achieve what I just said. Apple could have bad earnings, we could flush down, make a higher low, and continue to build from there. The main prediction that I'm giving you guys is that we're in a rebuilding phase going into the end of the year, and we might make a higher low if Apple's earnings are bad, but they're not going to go to the low that we've seen over the last couple of weeks. The lowest low for Apple is behind us right now. That is my solid prediction going into earnings. But I wanted to briefly talk about the difference between Apple and Tesla right now because they both tell us a lot about the market. Apple, because it's where all the institutional money flows into Apple, they love buying it, they keep buying it, and at the moment, they're going to continue to keep buying it. Nobody's turned their back on Apple. So how Apple's doing tells us a lot about how the overall market's going to do, so we're going to keep our eye on it. But Tesla has given us some clues as well as to how Apple might have done. Tesla, very bullish on 2023, and they've accomplished a lot, and they've had a great year, but they came out with their negative news and their somewhat sober forward guidance when Elon was crying tears at the earnings. And is that possibly what we're going to see with Apple? Are they going to dish out the worst of what's going on with Apple this year so that they could then come out with a better Q4, wrap up the year, wrap up their bonus moment ahead of them? So I slightly lean towards believing that they might give out all the bad news on this quarterly earnings before going into the next quarterly earnings, which are going to have to be much, much better to set the tone going into 2024 for the best results. And so did we learn from Tesla what might be happening here with Apple? Did they have a rough quarter? I think they might not have had as good a quarter as Q2 and Q1, and they probably didn't have as good a quarter as they will have in Q4. That's another prediction I've got for you regarding Apple. Okay, but what's been really interesting is the Bitcoin chart. If we take a look at the heat map of crypto, not having a good day, it's in the red, but that's only because it had a really good day over the last couple of days. We went up to my price prediction of 35,800 and a little bit above it, 35,900. It's still bullish, and what I find very interesting is that at the moment, it's doing exactly what my little drawing was that I gave you. Now, here's what I want to leave with you guys regarding Bitcoin right now. We can bleed off like we had the last couple times we had a push up, and we will likely find support between 30 and 31,000, which previously had been resistance. That's how it works. But I want to caution everybody before they load up on the puts on Bitcoin that we might not be at the very tippy top of this range. Bitcoin could continue to surprise us, and we could find it breaking upwards, because you have to remember that the very top of the current trade range, which I've given to you twice in the last 2 times I've covered it, is actually 48K. We could run up to 48K in some sort of a mega bull run, an unexpected mega bull run for Bitcoin, and then come back to 30K before the halving, only to then take off and go above 48K in 2024. I am not predicting that. I predicted that we would get to where we got today. That's as much as I can see in the charts, and I am predicting that at some point between now and the halving event, we will come back and backtest that 31K, but I don't know when. We're going to keep our eye on the charts, and if you follow this page, you know what I'm going to be looking for on the daily, weekly, and monthly time frame. I'm going to be looking for a rejection candle to tell us whether we're going to go down sooner or later. We don't have that candle yet, thus I can't make a prediction. But let's talk about another prediction that I made for Solana. Guys, I did it again. I underestimated Solana. I told you guys that we were going to get up to above $38 and possibly as high as $40, and that we would likely see rejection. But this thing took off and skyrocketed to $47, absolutely unexpected. And I've got to keep that in mind to stop underestimating Solana. However, the prediction that I did make to you guys was that from this point forward, when I made that last video, it wasn't a great time to be loading up on Solana because it was very likely going to face a hard sell-off, bringing it back beneath $38, and that's what we did get. So even though I did underestimate how high Solana could go, I think that I got it right about not loading up at the top because it sure did pull back fast. Be careful with it now. I have not sold any Solana. I am only accumulating. Guys, we've talked about it many times. Crypto's in accumulation. At this point in the winter, I am just being a buyer. I will not sell any of my crypto until we get to the end of 2024. That's the soonest I would even consider selling any. Guys, so I'm accumulating. I'm not bearish on Solana, and I'm not bearish on Bitcoin, and I'm happy to buy more. All right, briefly got to touch base on Cardano. Cardano's having a great day, even though the rest of crypto's down. Well, we kind of know, watching Cardano, the history of Cardano is that they are the tortoise, so they move the slowest. And sure enough, after everything's run up, here comes Cardano creeping along like the turtle, finally catching up to the finish line, and they've popped up nicely, which is nice because I have a very large Cardano bag. But I wanted to give you guys where I see resistance for Cardano, which is the top of the range is 38 cents or 40 cents. But guys, don't go long now to that point. If you didn't buy in at 25 cents and you're in some kind of a swing trade, you're getting to it too late. And it's also not a great time to short it because, like I said, it could continue to move up from here. The bottom line is they're doing well, and I'm not going to sell any of that until the end of next year anyways, so I'm happy to see it coming up like this. All right, quick station break for the meet and greet that Keenan Grace has planned in LA for the Core 4, the Stock Squad, plus our special guest, Chris Sane. Guys, if you've not gotten your tickets, I know that there is very increasingly fewer seats each and every hour of the day. I really believe this thing will be fully sold out this week, and so I want you to get over there and get your tickets so we can make sure to meet. It's a fundraiser. Every single dollar that is brought in is going to go to children's cancer treatment, plus all of the expenses for this event are going to be borne by Keenan Grace. I tried to ask him if I could split some with him. He said, no, this is my thing. I'm paying for it. He wanted to do this for you guys. He wanted to do it for the Stock Squad. So I hope you guys can take advantage. Get your ticket right now. There's a link in the description of the video, and there's a link in the top pinned comment. I'd love to see you in LA. All right, I've got 3 more things to cover, and we're going to go fast. The first one is going to be my AMD trade. It's not fully played out yet, but the charts that I gave you guys yesterday have been working according to plan. This morning, the options popped up. There was an opportunity to get out. I mostly broke even on that trade, got back in on the dip, made a quick 3K, but I'm reloaded in my position, and AMD is vacillating, so I don't know which direction it's going to turn. We could shoot up before the end of the day. Apple could drive it up. Apple could drive it down. It's unknown. But I want to give you guys some fresh technicals for those who are investing in or trading AMD. For one, midday, it was down, and it was going down on 53% higher volume, and so it was showing a little bit of what I'd call volume confusion. The current trade range, I believe, is between 106 on the bottom and 110 on top, which means that if Apple has good earnings, it could drive AMD all the way up to $110. But after that, I think it's going to see weakness. And I do think that we are then going to come back beneath 106 over the course of the next couple days. Keep your eyes on it. That is a prediction, so we'll check on that again tomorrow and Monday and see how it plays out. Guys, hit that subscribe button if you want to follow these trades along and get these market updates. The next thing I need to cover is the VIX, and here's one of my main points for this video. This is about market direction. This is about the big picture view. Guys, I've been telling you that until the VIX gets to 26, I don't think all the selling is over. So I want to show you this chart, and I want you guys to be aware that the markets have cooled off over the last couple weeks. Even though they were selling off, the run-up has sort of cooled the markets off, but there's still volatility in this market, and I don't think that that volatility is over. I think we're going to see a spike, and I think it's coming soon, and it's only after the VIX gets to 26 that I believe that the markets will then calm down and begin to go up through the end of this year. We haven't achieved it yet, which means that there's still, in my view, a fair amount of downside risk to these markets, and so be careful. Now, the very last thing I want to cover is actually a repeat of what I said yesterday, which is what I think we're looking for from a technical perspective is what I'd call a higher low. Now, we made a low. It was pretty dramatic. Tesla was down at pre-market at $185. That's the low. Then we've come screaming back up beautifully on Tesla, really high. Tesla, Nvidia, everything's looking great today, but we need to make a higher low. We probably need to come back and make another low at around $200 or 206 or 203, and we need to bounce there, making a higher low so that we can then build and get more confidence for a longer bullish run. That's what we're looking for in the markets right now. We're looking for that higher low. And as I said in yesterday's video, there's a bear out there keeping a close eye on these markets, and whenever you relax and you set up your campfire, he's going to come scurrying out of the woods. He's going to get you. So be careful, guys. Be careful with what you're doing, but we're making money. Hopefully all that makes sense. I am going to be in the Discord after I post this video to engage and answer questions, and we'll just wrap up the day over there. If you guys are not a member of the Discord, there is also a link for that in the top pinned comment as well as the description of the video. Now, one of my number one questions for every single one of my videos is, Josh, where's the link to the Discord? It's in the top pinned comment, which means if you scroll and you go to the very top of all the comments, you see the things I pin there. There's going to be a link to the Discord. You can click on that and you can join. It's the Stock Squad, Stock Up with Larry Jones, Keenan Grace, Stock Mo, and myself, giving plays and technicals. It's a community. You guys can come and check it out and join it, and hopefully we can make some money together. Guys, peace and blessings. Hit that subscribe. Thank you for the likes. We'll talk to you later. Take care.